All right, so let's get started with the actual cheaper 4K no name brand taken video capture card.
I will look for you. I will find you.
What up, techies and gamers? It's your boy Jermaine with Tech Toys and Gaming, the channel where you get your daily dose of technophilia, a little bit of technology addiction, as well as some entertainment and information. And in today's video, we're going to talk about two capture cards that are in the budget realm. So if you're out there trying to capture some video like this, some gameplay, these two capture cards are very viable, as in they're very cheap, right? Not very cheap, but cheap on the low spectrum, as well as delivering somewhat of decent quality, right? And the two capture cards are, let's whip them up right now with whipped cream. What? I want to do a side-by-side comparison between the EVGA XR1 Lite video capture card alongside a no-name brand Chinese 4K capture card, and just do a side-by-side comparison. They're both around the same price and the same budget realm, between 40, 50, and 60 bucks, give or take. Even though that's quite a little bit of a difference, $20 difference, it's still within the budget realm, right? So if you're looking for good quality at a good, decent cost, decent price, then these are two cards you may want to consider. Let's take a look right now. Now, the lower price 4K no name brand capture card does come with a name brand. This specific one is called the Taken, and it's a capture card that you will see on Amazon and on other sites that are similar in almost every respect, physical makeup, the appearance, as many of the other capture cards you'll find on there, because this is probably just a capture card you get off of, I don't know, Alibaba or something like that, and they're mass produced and people just buying them up and branding it with their brand name and probably adding a little bit of tweaks to the hardware itself. But overall, these capture cards come in about the same price and the same build. So yeah, we're going to look at that and compare it to something with a more known name brand, EVGA, right? The XR1 Lite seems to be a pretty popular capture card, with the EVGA being probably twice the price as this cheaper capture card. I guess I would expect to see twice the performance, but that may not prove to be true, techies and gamers, and we're going to take a look at that right now. So let's get started. I'm going to look at a few things when I'm comparing these capture cards together. Obviously, the first thing I want to look at is the build, right? The way they appear physically, the quality of the materials, maybe the size, the portability, because these capture cards sometimes get a little big and sometimes they're very tiny. So we'll look at those two things side by side. Want to look at what the resolutions are, right? What resolutions they support. We also want to look at the FPS, the frames per second output. And last but not least, we want to actually look at the video quality, right? What you looking at here, I'm looking up because I see it on my screen above. Don't look at my eyeballs, look at my face. What? All right, so let's get started with the actual cheaper 4K no name brand taken video capture card.
I will look for you. I will find you.
First, let's talk about the hardware itself. Now, looking at these two devices side by side, you will see the EVGA XR1 is a monstrous size device in comparison to this card. It is more than double the size of it. So if you're looking for a device that is more portable and gets the job done, just off the rip, I will say that the little cheaper capture card wins in that department. You can stick it in any pocket that you have, shirt pocket, and it will fit nicely. This XR1 Lite, it's like the size of a hard drive, like a SSD 2.5 size, maybe even a little bit bigger, honestly. So yeah, it's pretty bulky when it comes to the XR1 Lite. And honestly, I kind of like the look of the smaller, cheaper capture card with its nice little silver trimmed metallic edges here on the bezel, with all this plastic. So it looks nice and sleek as well. I mean, the branding on it is very generic, but who cares about that? It is nice to actually hold and throw around the house. What? They're both built with similar IOs. They both have HDMI in and out, as well as a USB port to connect to your PC for recording. And you can actually plug in your headphones, your headset to it, your mic, and you can actually utilize it if you're streaming or you're playing live to talk back and forth while you're gaming. The XR1 has a USB-C port, right? USB-C 3.0, and the actual cheaper capture card has a standard USB-A port, but that should not affect your ability to capture in very similar qualities, very similar frame rates. So yeah, don't let that be a hindrance, whether it's 3.0 or USB-C. They're both going to prove to be quite decent. And you can see right here that this cheaper capture card is very decent, because that's what I'm recording with, in your face. In terms of resolution support, now this is tricky. Now I won't go into all of the lower spectrum resolutions we have. It does support 720 and 480, those resolutions, but really in the gamer world, in the modern technology world, we are more concerned with 1920 by 1080p and up, right? We want to get better, higher resolutions, better quality in this day and age, because we have the technology, the hardware, and the software to support it. So why aren't we doing that now anyway? And besides, it lends to the more professionalism, the professional look you want when you're actually recording anything in life, really. So starting from 1920 by 1080, they both do in fact support 1920 by 1080p, 60 frames per second. So right now you're looking at the 60 frames per second at 1080p. In your face, techies and gamers. I am recording with the cheaper capture card right now. Looks kind of nice right here. The color reproduction on the cheap capture card looks really good. Now I'm going to make a switch over to the XR1 just to get a look on the fly. We have the XR1 video capture card right now you're looking at, and just looking here on my screen, making the switch, I can visually see, without even actually having them side by side, what the differences are off top. So for one, I noticed that the cheaper capture card is slightly more saturated, right? That's how good my eyes are. I'm not taking credit for myself, but that's how good my eyes are. What? The XR1 being a little bit more contrast on the XR1, just looking at it off the rip. So those just are two of the main things that I'm seeing. Really, I see a lot of my hair here, details getting washed out when I was actually seeing it with the cheaper capture card. But otherwise, the color on both look quite nice. The XR1 tends to look a little bit more natural to me, and the frame rate is looking good as well. They both skip 2560 by 1440. No 1440p on these cards, unfortunately, techies and gamers. If you're looking to do pass-through with these cards at that resolution, you won't get it on either of these. So you pay for what you get sometimes, techies and gamers, and that's just the fact of the matter. And here we are with the cheaper capture card. And what I will say is that if you are not looking to do any 4K 60 FPS pass-through, I would say go with the cheaper capture card. Now, I know I am not really a big proponent of these cheaper Chinese manufacturer capture cards, because it's a hit or miss, to be honest. You may get the same card from a different manufacturer, different brand, and it may not be the same performance. So what I will do is I will leave the link for that cheaper capture card in the description so that you can get this specific card if you're liking what the quality looks like here. But if you are looking to do 4K 60 FPS pass through with your gaming, if you have an Xbox, PlayStation, those things that actually do 4K 60, then you're gonna want to go with the XR1 just to actually have that pass through going at all times. In my final analysis, techies and gamers, looking at my screen right now, this looks quite crisp for a $30 capture card. I am really liking the color reproduction. I feel like this capture card is just ever so slightly sharper than the XR1, and it really lends to creating the illusion that the resolution is actually better here. I don't know, but it does look super clean, super crisp, right? The lighting is fantastic. The colors back here are a little bumped up in saturation, which I kind of don't mind. I'm sure probably looks good to you guys out there, your eyeballs, right? Because that's what you see with. But if you're looking to gameplay at 4K 60 and you need that 4K 60 pass through, Xbox gamers, PlayStation gamers, then you're gonna want to go with the EVGA XR1 Lite card, because it can actually do that 4K 60 pass through. The cheaper capture card is limited to 4K 30. So it's kind of weigh your cons and pros here. If you're just 1080p 60 FPS pass throughing and gaming, then I would absolutely say go with the cheaper capture card. But if you're looking to spend an extra buck and get that really fine quality that the Camlink 4K can push out by Elgato, check out the link right here. This is where I actually put the Camlink 4K capture card alongside the cheaper capture card. And I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Later.